Today I'm going to be explaining why this Plat Zarya is losing. I'm going to explain why their bubble usage is bad, and I'm going to explain why their positioning is bad. Right off the bat, you want to be using your bubbles to get yourself charged. So depending on what they're playing, it's going to be easy or hard to get charged. Sometimes it'll be hard, sometimes it'll be easy. Sometimes you got to work a little bit for it, but it's always possible to get charged. You just have to know how. In this case, what do they have? So they've got the Cassidy Bap. So they've got a spamming garbage. You shouldn't have an issue getting charge here. I would recommend that you save your bubbles for the Bastion turret form, because if you're caught without your bubbles during that form, you will die extremely quickly. I want you to be controlling this high ground here. I want you to use your bubbles to take space, and I want you to use your bubbles to hold space. Your first set of bubbles you're allowed to use to get charge, and if the fight hasn't started yet, you're allowed to use those bubbles to get charge. But if the fight is about to or has already started, you should only be using your bubbles to take or hold space. So they dive your Bastion, you bubble yourself. Sometimes that happens. You still have another bubble, but if you use your bubbles, you need to play defensively. You can only attack, you can only be offensive when you have your bubbles. If you push without them, you will die a lot. Good bubble on the Mercy, I like it. You saved her. She might die anyway, but what can you do? So you're going to demech this guy? Good. Now that you've demech this guy, you kind of, because you don't have your bubbles, you use them, you now can't push. You demech the diva, that's good, but now you can't push. You need to find some natural cover, and well, you either need to go back or you need to find some natural cover and chill. I would like to say that you can hold behind this pillar, but I have a feeling that you'll die, so I would try to make the effort to go back, because you cannot hold this without a bubble. Luckily, he decides not to push you, so you're good. Your Bastion's died. You have a bubble coming up. You should be using this bubble to take the control of the high ground to the right. But instead, you tried to bubble the res. That's fine. But because you did that, it means you still can't push. So, as you can see, he's going in. He needs a bubble, so you should give him one. Cool. Good. That's fine. So, use your bubbles defensively there. That's fine. If you're going to save someone from death, you should bubble them. That's obvious. So, but you have to be aware that if you do that, it's going to limit how much you can push. So yes, you can bubble defensively, but you can't bubble defensively and then just push them. This is pre-fight. They're down 2. It's okay for you to bubble for charge here, because they're not ready to put. They're not ready to push. You're not ready to push. They don't have 5. It's okay to bubble for charge here. But I think 1 is enough. Your next bubble shouldn't be used for charge. Why? It shouldn't be used to get charged because the enemies are back. You're going to be wanting to push and take space. Your teammates are back, the enemies are back, you're ready to take space. Use your bubbles to take space now. So you've got your bubble. I'd recommend using it on the Mercy. You got a kill, cool. Can you get 2 kills? You can't get up there. There is no way to get up there, so just don't. Okay. Now, like I said before, you want to be using your bubbles to take space. Good. I like the awareness. I like that you're looking around, checking if your teammates need bubbles. That's a great habit to be in. Keep doing that. Force the lamp, that's good. You don't have a bubble, so please be careful. So now that you've won the fight, now that you own the space, you're not going to use your bubbles to take space anymore, because you have space. Now you're going to use your bubbles to hold space. It's pre-fight. I'll allow you to use bubble for charge, but as soon as it gets too close, you bubble for space. I would say you could bubble here, but 1 only. And because you use your 1, now you back. 2, too much. Greedy. You're giving away space. If you use 2 bubbles in their space, then you can't even hold your own space anymore. So you identified that the diva wasn't looking and you grabbed. Good idea. You don't have any bubbles, so be very careful about dropping here, because if you drop without a bubble, you can die very quickly. And also, there's no actual reason to drop right now. You could have shot him from being up there. You didn't need to drop. Yeah, and you get punished. Expected. You can't bubble for charge here, only for space. So if they want to take their space, they need to shoot your bubble. Does that make sense? You're not bubbling for charge. You're going to get charge, but you're not bubbling for charge. You're bubbling for space. They want to take the space from you. You're going to let them have the space under the condition that they shoot your bubble. So you're going to stand there and shoot them with 0 charge until they shoot you enough that makes you need to go back whilst bubbling. Okay? Your Bastion is not with you, so You need to wait for him. Keep holding the space, basically. You hold the space until he gets back, because he's probably going to die. There he is. Now that he's died, your only job is just to hold space. Don't use too many bubbles, otherwise they'll push more. I get it, you wanted the charge. You've got the charge now. From now on, bubbles are only for space, okay? They use trance. Run away. Don't die. So you force a trance, so you spent a bubble and force trance. I'm okay with that. Now you can just beam this guy. He's out of position. So when I see this, I see lots of danger. We have danger, danger, danger. How much of this danger can we solve? We can shoot this, we can shoot this, we can shoot this, but if we attack any of this, we're going to get shot from here. So what we need to do is use our bubbles to take this space from them, okay? So I just want you to simply walk over there and push them off the high ground with your high charge and your bubble. They simply cannot be allowed to stay there. You need to remove them. It's your job. Beam them down. Cool. Bubble. If they try to push you, definitely bubble. Good. Pushing with a bubble. Take the space off them. This is exactly how you play Zarya. Just like that. You choose the space that you want to control and control it. And if they try to take it from you, you bubble. If you want to take it from them, you bubble. You've won the point. Now hold the space. That was a risky drive, but it did pay off, so, you know, and you won. So, on the times where you did take their space, it worked out for you. If you're not the best player in the world, you should probably subscribe to me. So, on the occasions where you use your bubbles to take the space, and use your bubbles to hold the space, it worked. And on the times where you wasted your bubbles, and used them at the wrong time, you lost. So, but overall, you won more than you lost, so good job, I guess. In this moment, neutral space, your space, their space. Neutral space. Neutral space you can usually take for free, and to take or hold somebody's space, usually cooldowns are required, or kills. Okay? So you can take the enemy space by either using cooldowns on them, or killing them, or damaging them. Okay? Because if you damage them, it forces them to use cooldowns in their own space. Neutral space, you could usually just walk into it behind a piece of cover, like you could just walk here, and now this space is yours. And you can use cooldowns to defend it, and they'll use cooldowns to take it from you. Okay? He's going in. He gets melted. Good. So, you've used a bowl to take space. Good. And in exchange, they've used a lamp, and they're running away. Good. But now, so you've used the cooldown to take this space. You now own this space. But you can't take any more space because you don't have any cooldowns left. So you just hold the space that you've taken, okay? If you push any more now, you're probably going to die. And you've only got one bubble. You don't, like... So you did the hard thing. You've taken the space. The space now belongs to you. You can be here as long as you have a bubble. But as I can see, you're about to use your bubble. So in the moment that you use your bubble, that exact moment, this space can't be yours anymore. You need to leave. So... you need to leave right now, or you're going to die. Now you don't have the bubble. You don't have one for 6 seconds, and you're in a position where if they shoot you enough, you're just dead. Yeah. Exactly. All you needed to do was play in the space that you just took. Here's the space. Defend this with defend this with bubbles. Okay. Same concept applies. The only difference is now this is neutral. This is their space now, so they've moved up. This space now belongs to them. So to take it away from them, you've got to damage them, kill them, or use cooldowns on them. So you use a bubble, cool. But you don't have any bubbles now, so you can't push anymore. You got to kill, which helps. But the best thing you can do right now is sit behind the natural cover, in and out, and just shoot. So you want to just shoot. You're not pushing, just shoot where you are. Stand where you are. Shoot them until you get a bubble. Then use your bubble to push. They have a window. Just don't peek that. Maybe you can right click into it if you can find the angle, but don't die. That bubble was totally unnecessary. You bubbled yourself for an Anna. I won't say more. Same concept. This is your space, hold it. Oh dear. Let me ask you something. Why are you taking a risk when there is no danger? Why are you taking a risk where the fight's over? Why are you taking a risk when the fight's won? I'll tell you why. Because you're not thinking. You shot a grav that is a coin flip. You didn't know if there was anyone there, and I'm pretty sure that even if it did hit, it would have hit nothing. So you grabbed when you didn't even know who was there in a fight that's already won. Why? Oh, and what's even worse, you died to the bottom afterwards. So now your team's got to spend... Now your team's got to spend res on you. Oh dear. Same process. Hold the space. You have no bubbles. You don't need to push. Hold the space with your bubbles. You force lamp. Good. Don't use any cooldowns. Because if you manage to force cooldowns with just shooting them, that's great. But then if you then use a cooldown straight after, then it's not so great. You don't have any bubbles. You're in big danger. He needs a bubble. Good. Remember, the point's on 87. They're about to push in because they need to touch, and you don't have any bubbles to do anything about it. I get that you had to bubble the Bastion, but before that you didn't have to bubble. So what's probably going to happen now is they're going to touch, and you're going to die because you don't have any bubbles. Okay, you're dead. Can you take one out with you on the way? Okay, good decision to drop. Good, I like this. Grab. Okay. So the decision to flank and go for the backline was a good decision, but before that, you wasted your bubbles, which forced you into a corner like a little bitch. So if you had not wasted your bubbles and then done that flank, you probably would have killed everyone. You're dead. You don't have any bubbles, and your team split from you. You shouldn't have run towards them from the bottom. You should have run back towards your team. You get res, carried again. Okay, that's a good bubble. But you bubbled yourself before that, which did nothing. So your breaker is probably really going to need a bubble now. But you bubbled yourself for no reason, so you can't bubble her. And now she's purple, so she really needs a bubble. What a shame, she died. You could have stopped that if you had better bubble management. And then you die to the window. Oh no. So the main issue in your gameplay is your bubble management and your understanding of space. Pre-fight, you should use bubbles to get charge. During the fight, you should use bubbles to take and hold space. The way you do that is by shooting people and using your bubble when they try to shoot back. Simple as that. And if you use a bubble, you have to give space. If you don't use a bubble, you can take more space. So the way you play Zarya is you see how much you can get away with, see how much space you can take without using a bubble. And then when they decide to shoot you back, then you just bubble them and take the charge, and then give them their space back. That's how you play Zarya.